Pat and Bill Green of Harwinton, Connecticut have been enjoying their 1960 MGA Roadster for decades. They even have pictures from their wedding in 1963 to prove it. Pat bought the sports car in October 1959 before she ever met Bill.
I was out of college. I needed a decent car. So I went to Farmington and I wanted an Austin Healey, but that cost $3,500 and this cost $2,700. It took me 3 years to pay for it. I drove it from Avon, where I lived with my parents, to Cherrybrook School in North Canton, because I was a first grade teacher. Sometimes it didn't behave. It didn't like being outdoors at night in the snow.
The big unanswered question, was Bill more attracted to his eventual wife or the MGA?
You really want me to answer that?
I always say to people he married me for my car. Yeah. But he had to pay big time for restoring it.
Well, I will tell you that I had made sure the car was paid for before I married her.
The MGA model was built in Britain from 1955 through 1962. Pat bought it
because so many of the American cars were not great.
The 1960 edition had a 1,588cc four-cylinder engine that produced 80 horsepower. It couldn't hit 100 miles per hour, and its 0 to 60 time was a pokey 13.3 seconds.
The engine has never been rebuilt, and MG engines last about 45,000 miles. The last time I had work done on it, the mechanic said, "You're going to need to have an engine rebuilt sometime." But we put so few miles on it, now I'll wait.
It hasn't always been happy motoring with the MGA.
The rocker panel's all rotted out. So we had to have that all redone and repainted. And then the next thing that went is the front end all froze up. So it was a kind of a decision. You couldn't get parts very easily at that particular time. Now parts are pretty readily available.
The sports car has in fact been freshened 3 times over the past 63 years.
This last year, I took it down to have an oil change.
1 year later.
And 1 year later,
$7,000.
We replaced all of the old rubber and plastic hoses and all of that sort of stuff internal. It cost a lot of money, but
it certainly is fun to drive.
It's fun. It handles very. It goes around corners quite nicely. It hugs the road pretty nicely.
What began as Pat's car became their car, and a lasting memento.
So when I was working at Torrington, I would drive this car every day when the sun was out in the summertime. It was just my transportation back and forth, which was fun. It made the day nice.
That's Ride Connecticut. I'm Bud Wilkinson. And don't forget, if you'd like to see more classic car stories, subscribe to Ride Connecticut's YouTube channel.